It is 6 p.m. on June 11th, 2003. We're at the Northeastern Clinton Central School Sports Awards, and we just went to 6:01 p.m. 20 years ago at this moment, actually at 6 o'clock, the first local programming was shown on Channel 21 on Time Warner Cable, back then Champlain New Channels. 20 years ago, June 11th, 2003.
I would like to welcome everyone to part one of our spring sports recognition night. I'd like to thank Lisa Menard and Jackie Werner for typing the certificates, and also thank Kathy Devins for typing tonight's program. Many of our school records were broken this spring in both boys and girls track. Our boys track team went undefeated in the regular season, and they also won the CVAC and Section 7 championships. Both the girls JV and varsity softball teams were CVAC champions, and the boys tennis team shared the CVAC title with two other teams. Last year, I believe one young man qualified for the track state championship, and this year we sent 7 boys and 3 girls, and also one tennis player made it to the state championships as well. What an amazing spring that our teams have had, but they didn't do it alone. So I'd like to say thank you to all of our coaches for their dedication, hard work, and assistance with all of these successes. There were 57 athletes that earned high honors while participating this season, so congratulations to all of you for your athletic and academic accomplishments. At this time, I would like to call the following athletes down front: Steph Bayshard, Emily Bordeaux, Jason Desero, Heidi Dragoon, Robbie Dragoon, Lucas Dunn, Samantha Forey, Catherine Frankie, Carrie Guerin, Kaylee Guerin, Michelle Goodrow, Catherine Herdick, Andrea Knapp, Brittany Jarvis, Emily LaFountain, Sarah McDonald, Robert Menard, Kevin O'Connor, and Dustin Rye.
This is for the white letter.
The White Letter N Award is given to an athlete that has earned a letter in 3 varsity sports in the same year. These athletes started playing in the middle of August and continued right through to June. It's a difficult task and a great accomplishment. The letter comes with small insignias for each sport that can be sewn onto the letter. These athletes are all earning the White Letter N Award this year for their first time. You only get one of these letters. Steph Bayshard, soccer, basketball, and track. Emily Bordeaux, cross country, indoor track, and track. Heidi Dragoon, soccer, indoor track, and track. Samantha Forey, cross country, indoor track, and track. Catherine Frankie, cross country, indoor track, and track. Carrie Guerin, soccer, basketball, and track. Kaylee Guerin, soccer, basketball, track. Michelle Goodrow, soccer, indoor track, and track. Catherine Herdick, cross country, indoor track, and track. Andrea Knapp, soccer, indoor track, track. Brittany Jarvis, soccer, basketball, tennis. Emily LaFountain, soccer, indoor track, tennis. Sarah McDonald, soccer, volleyball, tennis. Robert Menard, cross country, indoor track, track. Dustin Rye, cross country, indoor track, track. Kevin O'Connor, soccer, basketball, golf. Lucas Dunn, soccer, indoor track, track. Robbie Dragoon, soccer, basketball, tennis. Jason Desero, soccer, indoor track, and track. Congratulations to all of you. I would like to call down first the boys varsity and modified track teams. Kyle Ashfield. Mike Castine. Jason Desero. Robert Menard. Robert Venn. Garrett Woodward. Dustin Rye. David Blankenship. Brian Chambers. Joe Coupel, Lucas Dunn, Matt Seguin, James Cruz, James Frankie, Jonathan Hardigan, Kyle Kent, Alex Menard, Niall Manette, Mike Noggle, Kyle Riley, David Werner, Kyle Chambers, Nate Gaudette, Derek Norton, Jordan Babby, Jeremy Bellinger, Daniel Frankie, Cody Gay, Patrick Holmes, Nick Letourneau, Jordan Marks, Ethan McCarthy, Jared Pasnell, Corey Slater, Andrew Southwick, special recognition goes to 12 members of the boys track and field team who qualified for the New York State Public High School Athletic Association Scholar Athlete Team Award. To receive this award, the student must be an eligible varsity competitor whose grade point average is used to determine the team composite grade point average of at least 90%, with additional students that have a grade point average of 90% or better. Each athlete earning this award receives a pin, and I've already put that inside their packet just to save a little time, but I would like to read off their names and ask them to step forward when I do so. The members of the boys track and field team earning this award were James Cruz, James Frankie, Jonathan Hardigan, Kyle Kent, Alex Menard, Niall Manette, Mike Noggle, David Werner, Luke Dunn, David Blankenship, Robert Menard, and Garrett Woodward. Congratulations. Now our coaches, Mr. Power and Mr. Katz.
Thank you. What a year. Our season began typically with our athletes trudging through 2 feet of snow on their way to a snow-covered track. Our 400-meter repeats only packed that snow in the synthetic surface and days of snow and bitter wind often drove our team indoors to the sanctuary of the weight room and the tedium of whole repeats and interval running. Not much fun. It was a traditional spring for outdoor track at NCCS. Yet the monotony of preseason workouts belied something special that lay in store for this year's team. This was a team that once again qualified for CVAC all-academic status. Yet this was anticipated. What made this year's track contingent so singular was unprecedented at NCCS. This track team ended its season as undefeated CVAC and sectional champions. There is more to the story. For the first time, a fairly large group of middle school students participated. They were alternately enthusiastic, funny, weird, likable, and very talented. The middle school male has an interesting view of the world. I'm not aware of this view because I've always taught high school. But I've seen, but I'll spare this audience the anecdotes, as I would not dream of embarrassing these young men, unless I had the opportunity. In short, Jordan Babby is an all-around athlete with impressive speed. Andrew Southwick is a versatile athlete who seems to enjoy sprints and hurdles. Corey Slater and Jared Passano are truly promising throwers. Jordan Marks and Nick Letourneau are my middle distance runners who enjoyed considerable success toward the end of the season. Ethan McCarthy is the league's best high jumper, and along with Cody Gay and Daniel Frankie, proves NCCS will be dominating in the hurdles for many years to come. These are really, really excellent athletes. Patrick Holmes likes jumps as well as distance. Kyle Chambers will be a terrific 400 to 800 meter runner. Jeremy Bellinger likes sprints and can excel in distance. And Derek Norton's size holds him in long and triple jump as well as weight throws. In addition to their prowess on the track, this enthusiastic group is our league's best, most organized, like their coach, fastest, most efficient hurdle crew. Our hurdle crew was the envy of the league and a great enhancement to our meets. Congratulations to the best and largest mod squad ever at our school, the Modified Runners. Congratulations. And now our varsity. It was the most singular season. Our boys team compiled a record of 9-0, the school's first undefeated track team. These boys then won the sectional championship, a championship that featured all 11 CVAC teams in one race. They qualified as an all-academic team for their 90-plus squad average. The discus was tossed an amazing 100 feet, and the school shot put record was impressively reestablished at 57 feet, 1/4 inch. I think he would have set the record this year, but his mother was always distracted. Well, that's another story. The 110-meter record was tied, and that's the record held by Scott something or other, Borelli. And most surprisingly, our revered 4x400 record was shattered by almost 2 seconds, something the coach never thought would happen. And Garrett Woodward took great delight in telling me that for 2 or 3 hours after the meet. Our team was surprisingly small. Virtually every member was crucial to our undefeated season. And clearly, the linchpin of our success was the team's maturity and chemistry. Negative energy, negativity was almost never experienced. And the athletes were more than cooperative, they were self-sacrificing. And Mr. Katz referred to this quality in our team over and over and over again. He said, the wonderful thing about this year, there's no negative energy. Everybody's out there to help. I think they're out there to help because they all felt that they needed that help. And this factor, more than the other, was responsible for our championship season. Nate Gaudette was the only middle school athlete on our team. A 67-second 400 hurdler who turned into a 66-second hurdler for the most crucial race. Nate's 400-meter hurdle victory against Saranac was crucial to our 2-point victory over that team. Kyle Riley competed in all middle and long distance meet this year. Niall Manette is a very excellent sprinter who we hope to use as a high jumper and discus thrower. Kyle Kent runs the 110 and 400 meter hurdles and has displayed significant improvement in the weight throws. He's a weightlifting addict too, and he's quite good. He's improved tremendously. James Frankie, again, competes in long and triple jumps, setting a personal record in the ladder jump, his favorite jump, the triple jump. John Hardigan competed successfully in the 4x800. Thank God for that. We needed him terribly. The long jump, and was an excellent triple jumper. Mike Noggle was a vital 4x800 competitor in that race, helping our team prevail in 2 crucial dual meets, and he established a personal record in the mile run. David Werner ran with our top 4x800 team in Saranac Lake, that was the 4x400 in Saranac Lake, and the 4x800 in many races. In fact, he was in the 4x800 in 3 important, actually crucial races. His times in the 200 indicate that David can be a tremendous contributor to next year's team. He's quite fast. James Cruz unfortunately labored through intense foot pain, which ultimately shortened his season. One of the truly strong runners on our cross-country team, James will contribute mightily to next year's team. Joe Kupal ran well and even placed in his first competitive season. However, he too was hampered by injury toward the end of the year. Brian Chambers' long and triple performances were the keys to success in 3 races. We could not have won them without his contribution. A natural athlete, Brian is as pleasant and engaging as he is talented. David Blankenship is the most courageous competitor. He is literally ill in almost every competition. He's possessed of a terrible sense of timing, the worst I've ever seen. I mean, as Mr. Cat says, the gun goes off and David thinks a minute and then he runs, you know. Usually he catches the competition before the end. He routinely grants his opponent a lead before reclaiming that advantage just before the finish line. It makes things exciting, but it's strange. Dusty Rye broke his PR, personal record, in the mile. He slaughtered the personal record while breaking the 7-minute barrier. He also competes in the 800, the 2-mile, and as much as any athlete at this school possesses an attitude of gratitude, something very special for a high school athlete. Kyle Ashfield competes in the long and the triple jump and has run in the 100 and 400 meter races as well. A computer whiz. Kyle seeds all of our races, and for that factor alone is invaluable to our team. Robert Venn is truly the personification of coolness. Completely new to our sport, he nevertheless cheerfully, I don't know about cheerfully, but he cheerfully dedicated himself to the 1 and the 2-mile runs. Robert is a likable young man and a fast improving distance runner. His ever-present smile will be sorely missed, and Robert, I wish I knew you earlier. He's quite a runner, and I hope he runs after high school. Garrett Woodward ran a 1,600 meter race against Plattsburgh High School in which he upset a young man who at that time was the front runner of the league. It was a thrilling race that may have proven the difference in our 67-65 victory. Additionally, Garrett competes in the relays, the 4x100, the 4x4, the 4x8. If we found another relay, we'd put him in, and was part of our record-setting 4x400 meter relay. Matt Seguin is tough and very talented. He is a crucial asset in the 100, the 200, the 400, the 4x800, the 4x1, and the 4x400 meter runs. Matthew is quiet, he is extremely sincere, and he truly makes a difference. His 400 hurdle time this year, just to give you an idea of this man's talent and his versatility, his 400 hurdle time was the 2nd fastest in the league behind Jason Desereau, a teammate. And just that ability enabled Jason to run 800 meters So Jason would win the 800, take first place in the 800 meters, while his understudy, Matt Sequin, would win the 400 hurdles. And it was just through that manipulation and our ability to manipulate, because of their versatility, that we were able to win. This year's Most Improved Runner Award goes to Matt Sequin. Was unbeaten this year in the long jump and the triple jump. He was unbeaten in the 4x100 and garnered the all-important first place in the high jump that allowed our team to finish undefeated this year. He had never jumped in the high jump this year. He hasn't jumped in a couple of years in the high jump, but he entered and took first place, and that enabled us to get past Peru. He's a mature leader who covered wherever he was needed. Our co-field MVP, Robert Bernard. Mike Castine was undefeated in the shot put and the discus. He rose 150 feet in the discus and 57 feet 1/4 inch in the sectional championships. He was second in the states in small school division before the federations. And Mike is an extraordinary athlete who will be competing for Plattsburgh State in the fall. The co-field MVP for track and field, Mike Castine. Jason Desero tied the school's 110-meter record, formerly held, or still held, half held, by Scott Borelli, and finished within 1/2 second of the 400-meter record, also held by Scott. He was the winning leg for our 4x100, the winning leg for our 4x400, and twice was the winning leg for our 4x800. We depended on Jason quite a bit. He bested PHS's 800-meter ace, while his understudy, Matt Sequin, manned the 400 hurdles. A league star at every distance from 100 to 800, and track MVP, of course, Jason Desero. Lucas Dunn is a precocious young athlete who was the top seed in the CVACs last year in the 100-meter championships. This year, however, was Luke's finest. He dominated in the 100, the 200, the 400, 4x100, and the 4x400. He was a wise and splendid mentor for David Blankenship, and for this I am very grateful. He's a team leader who excelled without ego. Luke never missed a practice the day after a meet, and led by example, a paragon of excellence for our runners of the future. Any 7th and 8th grade runner who watched Luke compete understands what it takes to be a real team leader. Co-MVP for track and field, and also the recipient of the Matt Smith Award, Lucas Dunn. I would like to thank Calvin Castine for his professional coverage, and Jessica Bernard for her faithful dedication as our scorekeeper. And I picked up, well, probably I didn't pick it out. I think my wife picked it out. I'm not sure. Jess, do we have available? No. Could Jess Bernard, is Jess Bernard in the auditorium? We know. Will these keep a day, I hope? Miss Crowley, who dutifully attends our track meets. We really appreciate this. Miss Crowley's always there to shout encouragement to our athletes and abuse toward me. My loving wife, Debbie Cardin, who has no connection to track but insists on my gratitude, and the parents, like Rick Castine, Janet McFedrich, Kathy Woodward, Jim Brubaker, Jim Engelbrecht, who are so committed and proficient. These parents and others make track and field fun. And there's one more. Matthew Katz boards our invitations equipped. Bagels, buns, muffins, donuts, complete with jelly, cream cheese, and all the accoutrements for a splendid morning repast. He's a tireless worker, a fine tactician, a heck of a tactician, and a wonderful role model for student athletes who have lofty aspirations. Mr. Katz does a wonderful job and can never be given enough credit for his contributions to our team. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you for Northeastern athletes for a little Milton Hollow magic season. Thank you.
Rob's making the speech, but I just want to say a few words. As we all know, this is my last season and our last season. I'd like to thank all the parents and Calvin, probably reiterating everything Mr. P said, but we really appreciate all your support. And I'd like to say that I'm really going to miss you guys next year, and I wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you.
Well, as you all know, it's been a heck of a year. We were undefeated, CVAC and sectional champs. We broke school records, and 7 of us qualified for states. I know Garrett, Jay, Mike, Dusty, and I, and all the other seniors will miss this team very much. We haven't won sectionals since we were in 7th grade, which would seem even longer except my brother's still around. So, plus we played baseball in 7th grade, so it was part of that. But next year will be fun to watch. We still have a load of young talent, and they won't be strangers to success. I have no clue what they'll do without a Filipino on the team, but they still might win. For many of us, it was our 13th season running, and it was just great to be able to work with two great coaches, Mr. P and Mr. Katz. Under their guidance, we had the most successful team in NCCS that NCCS has ever had. It was so great to finally beat Drew and Plattsburgh one-on-one. But if Plattsburgh's Filipino hadn't graduated last year, I would have had my doubts. But I'll miss all the good times and all the great jokes, except for Mr. P's horrible jokes. I'll miss Garrett getting in trouble from everything we do. And everything's just been great. Pulling out to win at sectionals was the highlight of my high school career. And it's been a season I'll never forget. So good luck, have fun, and thanks for everything.
Decades of coaching, Mr. P is retiring this year. This is his last season, so I'd like to just give him a round of applause for all he's done for this school.
Folks, just a 2-minute presentation here that we've worked out through the courtesy of Ashley Moore and Dan Shedrick. It's just a quick PowerPoint presentation. We wanted to show you the athletes when they were maybe a little younger, but just as enthusiastic, okay? And It features a Woodward, a Menard, a Blankenship. Yes, and a Seawood. I think you'll enjoy it.
We have the girls track team down front, please. Emily Bordeaux, Heidi Dragoon, Steph Desha, Megan Boris, Carrie Garrett, Kaylee Garrett, Michelle Woodrow, Andrea Knapp, Missy Kopp, Ellen Lapierre, Nicole Sample, Samantha Forey, Catherine Frankie, Katrin Herdick, Katie Poole, Betsy Macy, Nicole Pilardi, Jessica Bayshard, Christy Knapp, and their scorekeeper Jessica Bernard. 14 members of the girls track and field team also qualified for the New York State Public High School Athletic Association Scholar Athlete Team Award, and I'll ask you to step forward as I call your name. Jessica Bayshard, Christy Knapp, Samantha Forey, Catherine Frankie, Katrin Herdick, Katie Houle, Betsy Macy, Megan Boris, Kaylee Guerin, Michelle Goodrow, Andrea Knapp, Missy Kopp, Emily Bordeaux, and Heidi Dragoon. Congratulations. And Coach Ann Lynch.
First, I would just like to thank again some of the people that Mr. P thanked, especially my assistant coach who is not here right now, Sue, if you didn't know, had an appendectomy last week, and Miss States, which was a tragedy because she's a big part of why we were able to go. She basically is my right hand, and we work very well together as a team, and when I'm thinking of something, she seems to be thinking of it at the same time, and together we just double team the girls and it gets done. I would like to thank Josie for all her help through the season, Jimmy and his staff, especially they put a new cage around the discus area instead of the old net that we had there. All of the parents that Mr. P named that come faithfully to all of our home meets and run it. We have the most professionally run home meet of anybody. We have adults at every event. Really thank you for that. Calvin for being there to tape it for the kids. And Jess, our scorekeeper. This, I just have to say this has been the strangest season I have ever had as a coach anywhere. And I've coached several other places before I came here. And all I kept thinking when I wanted to write something out for tonight was the Grateful Dead, what a long, strange trip this has been. We have had a lot of ups and downs this season, some great things, some horrible things. We've had our first winning season since I've been here. We've had a lot of good individuals, but we haven't had enough to pull up behind them. And this year we had a 5-3 record. We beat Beekmantown, Ty, Peru, Ausable, and Lake Placid. We did lose a good bunch of our players to other sports, but we also had a lot of new faces that were really helpful in keeping up the points that we needed to win these meets. We did, as in the ups and downs, we had a really bad day at sectionals, but I guess that was kind of good because then everybody underestimated us and we had a fantastic day at state qualifiers. The first year that we were one section, every single school in the league was in one section, and we haven't sent a girl to states in several years, and this year against every single school we had 3 qualify, and we almost had a 4th qualify that came in 2nd place. With the girls that qualified for states, please step forward. Michelle Goodrow, Heidi Dragoon. Okay. We set 2 new school records this year. One in the 4x8 relay with a time of 10:34.1, which was about 5-6 seconds faster than it had been done in the previous years, and that was Heidi Dragoon, Andrea Knapp, Katrin Herdick, and Michelle Goodrow. We also had the 800 record broken twice by the same girl this year, Michelle, once at the St. Lawrence Invitational with an FAT, which is an automated time of 2:26.9, and then at CVACs again, with a win that nobody thought she could pull off, but we knew she could, of 2:25.6 to send her to states. Not only was the number of hospitalizations we had strange this year, and the weather has got to be the worst I've ever seen since I've coached. Our first meet was 22 degrees and raining and cold, and the girls still got out there and did what they had to do and pulled off some great times. Okay, for the awards, this year was a lot easier because track is kind of like apples and oranges. You've got different types of jumps and different types of throws and different distance running, and there's a 10-second drop in a 2 mile, the same as a 2-second drop in a 200, and sometimes it's kind of hard to make decisions. This year, the most valuable track was fairly easy since this student was in both of the, responsible for both of the school records that were broken this year, Michelle Goodrow. Our most valuable field events girl this year has a lot of potential for next year. She placed in almost every meet first, second in the throwing events and came in second at CVAC's Steph Bayshard. And this year, the other thing we had was a most valuable track and field. We have some girls, well, not some, almost everybody here does 4 events. And they change from time to time depending on where we're empty and where the other team is strong. And one of the girls who was also on one of these relays that set a record and went to states, crosses over into both categories, has been on our winning relays and winning high jump. So most valuable track and field goes to Heidi Drago. The most improved track was kind of tough until we got down to sectionals, and then it became very clear to Ms. Hutchins and I, as this girl had outstanding performances, and I don't know if it's just because she was late to each event, was already, had a running start when she got there, but some real improvements in time this year, and we look forward to having her as one of our top runners next year. Most improved track, Katie Houle. Just before I go, I would like to say, Pete, I wish you best in everything that you do. It's been a great season to work with you.
I'd like to start off by saying thank you to our coaches. We had a great season. We really appreciate you guys tolerating our complaining, listening to our troubles, and helping us keep our obsession with certain male teachers under control. We know it wasn't easy.
Secondly, we'd like to thank the parents. We know our meets weren't always exciting and not always warm, but you were there anyway, and we appreciate your support.
Finally, the team. We had a lot of talent this year, and we couldn't have had such a fun season without any of you. We now know not to flip our tent in the pouring rain and extreme wind because it will stop raining immediately after and therefore serve no purpose whatsoever. To anyone we forgot, thanks, and sorry we forgot to mention you. We'd also like to wish good luck to our seniors. You'll be missed next year.
Could we have the girls and boys tennis teams down front, please? Sabrina Johnson. Emily LaFountain. Frances Mercado. Brittany Phillips. Kathleen Kehoe. Sarah McDonald. Kim Noggle. Shanti Pirro. Brittany Jarvis. Katie Gay. Sarah Monty. Manager for both teams, Jen Mitchell. Ryan Casey. Robbie Dragoon. Bryce Gadway. Ashley Hagar. Rusty LaFountain. Eric Ashline. William Collins. Charles Martin. Mike O'Connor. Brandon Sample. Aaron Batchelder. Nate Weiss. Tyler Richards. Tennis team, the coach, Harry Vance.
Good evening. The 2003 tennis team began with two major unknowns this year. First, on the boys team, would the boys be able to adjust to the loss of three first-team All-Stars and still win another championship this season? Second, would the girls team, which lost 3 of 4 starters from last year's team, be competitive this year, especially with the creation of 2 new starting positions? I'm proud to say both answers would be a resounding yes. However, the boys team would falter against PHS early in the season, but then respond in a must-win situation by beating undefeated Peru to gain a tie for the CVAC championship. This match and its significance would be the most important tennis match in the last 10 years in Northeast Clinton. And the girls team would win 8 matches this year, excuse me, and be very competitive in all the rest. We had a great group of tennis players this year, and we have a special remembrance for each of the starting seniors. During the boys' season, at number 1 singles was junior Ashley Abar. Ashley went 8-1 in CVAC play. Ashley's goal in moving to boys tennis was always to represent Section 7 at the U.S. Open courts in Flushing Meadows in the state championships. She accomplished this goal as the number 2 player in the section. Her best match was the sectional semifinals when she came back to win the match and ensure her state bid. Her game improved in all phases, and her lone defeat was to the undefeated champion from PHS. She was a second-team All-Star at number 1 singles. At number 2 singles was senior Bryce Gadway. He improved his game this year and finished undefeated in CVAC play. We could always count on a win from Bryce. His best match was coming back from numerous match points down to defeat the undefeated Peru player. His only loss was at number 1 singles, taking more games than anyone else in the league from the Section 7 champion. He also came within a let board of being a state qualifier this year. He was a first-team All-Star, and he will be missed next year. Bryce is our most valuable player this year. At number 3 singles was senior Ryan Casey. He was 8-1 this year, and Ryan played wherever we needed him. In the big matches, that was at number 2 or number 3 singles. He won one of the great comebacks of all time, beating the undefeated Peru player in 3 long sets, including a 9-7 tiebreaker in the final set. Ryan started varsity tennis for 5 years and played mostly singles. He won nearly 40 matches during that time period. In his last match, playing at number 2 singles, even though not victorious, he played his heart out and was the perfect role model on the court for all the younger players on the team. I was very proud of him. He will also be missed very much next year. At number 1 doubles, we had senior Rob Dragoon and junior Rusty LaFountain. They won 6 matches this year, with their biggest match winning against PHS in the sectional finals. Rob matured into a fine doubles player and was willing to change partners whenever the coaches needed him to. Rusty was always looking to play singles this year, but it just didn't work out. I know he will do an outstanding job next year in singles play. At second doubles, we had sophomore William Collins and freshman Aaron Batchelder. They went undefeated this year. They were the first team All-Stars, but their finest moments came in the championship Peru match when they helped us win 4-1. Both will be key players next year. Aaron played some of his best tennis in the sectional final against PHS. William played particularly well, with his doubles play improving dramatically this year, especially on return of serve and net play. William is our most improved player. William Collins. Also on the squad was Eric Ashline, and Eric had 2 big wins for us this year. Brandon Sample had 2 wins for us, and Mike O'Connor also won a match this year. All 3 seem to have the willingness to learn the game, which should lead to a starter's role next year. Charlie Martin, Nate Weiss, and Tyler Richard rounded out the team, and I hope they all play a lot of tennis this summer and maybe attend a tennis camp in Plattsburgh in August. I think it will improve their games, but the future for the boys does look good. As I mentioned, the girls' team lost all but 1 starter from last year's team, and now the girls have to play 1 extra singles and an extra doubles match this year. At number 1 singles, senior Sabrina Johnson played some fine tennis. She won 10 matches this year and is the kind of player that makes coaching a pleasure. She's a very smart player, always looking for a weakness from her opponent. To see her hitting a great approach shot, coming to the net and putting the ball away is one of the highlights of my coaching career. A gutsy player, she always came back and won every close match she played in this year. Her best match was a come-from-behind win against PHS, a great way to finish her high school tennis playing career. I will miss her very much next year. She is our most valuable player on the girls' team. At number 2 singles was senior Frances Mercado. She is an excellent athlete and a great individual. She won 8 matches this year and almost won a few more. Her game improved so much this year that by the end of the season she could play with any number 2 player in the league. Her best match was up in Lake Placid, where she defeated an excellent number 2 player. She is our co-most improved player this year. I will also miss Franny next year, as she always had the most positive attitude on the team. Frances Mercado. At number 3 singles was junior Shanti Perro. This was a new position for the girls this year. Shanti wasn't even sure she'd be able to play this year because of her work schedule, but we are sure glad she did. She won 7 matches this year, and her 3-set win against Seton was her best effort, and it allowed us to win the match 3-2. We hope she will play 1 more year, and if she does and makes the same progress next year, the team will truly be a contender. At number 1 doubles were first-year players freshmen Katie Gay and sophomore Brittany Jarvis. They were fun to watch all year long because they just got better in each match. They went 9-0 for their first year and were seeded number 1 in the Section 7 tournament. Unfortunately, they did lose in the semifinals, but bounced back to win 3rd place in the sectionals. They came back in many matches this year, but their wins over PHS and overall champion Peru were their best efforts. We look for even better things from them next year. They are our co-most improved players, and I hope they play a lot this summer too. Katie Gay and Brittany Jarvis. At number 2 doubles, another new position, we rotated 3 players, freshman Sarah Monty, junior Sarah McDonald, and senior Emily LaFountain. Overall, they won 7 matches. Emily and Sarah Monty were undefeated at the position and were awarded a second-team All-Star. Their best match was against Peru, where they won in straight sets. We look to both Sarahs as the nucleus for next year's doubles teams. Emily is one of those unique individuals who comes your way very rarely in education. She is a natural leader and very confident in what she does. This shows on the tennis court. I will miss her also next year. Emily? Brittany Phillips, Kathleen Keogh, and Kim Noggle rounded out the team this year. Unfortunately, Dan Gallagher is not here, but I want to mention him anyway, and I'm calling him my co-head coach, and I think everybody on the team would say that because that's what he is. He's a great guy. He brings a positive attitude to the team. He has learned the game and can work with any of the players both on skills and on strategy. He also gives the team a sense of cohesiveness, which is very important. I'm very fortunate to have an individual like him to coach with. He has donated much of his free time to playing tennis with team members and improving their games. This year, Dan got a true taste of the joy of winning and the pain of losing, but he always took something positive from each match to build on. As I watched him, I knew that the NCCS tennis program is in the most capable hands for the future. I would also like to thank Jen Mitchell. In 30 years of coaching, she is our first manager, and it was a great year, Jen, and I hope you consider doing it next year. I would like to thank Josie Gilroy for all her support. Whenever I had a concern, Josie was always there to make my job an awful lot easier. And I'd like to thank Calvin Castine, and I think a special thanks for Calvin. I was informed tonight, this is his 20th year of doing these events in Northeast Clinton. Let's give a hand to Calvin Castine. Finally, I would like to thank all the parents for coming to our tennis matches and all the parents for being here tonight. Bringing your support by being at matches is one of the most important things you can do for your children. This effort will mean more to your child than they may comprehend right now. But later, they will appreciate these tremendous efforts and even say, thank you for coming. Thank you.
It's been a great season. Winning CVAC is a good way to cap off 6 years of tennis here. We're going to miss Mr. McMahon the most. He's been a great coach here, and we give him a hand, round of applause. Mr. McMahon and Mr. Gallagher have been great coaches as well as friends over the years. They've really been dedicated to the team and helped us all tune our game. They've always been willing to play tennis with us on the weekends, even when we're not practicing, and given us a lot of support. We have a young team here that has a lot of, has a big future ahead of them. See them right around Leicester.
Do we have the golf team now, so please? Jeremy Ballard. Kyle Hicks, Eric LeBlanc, Sam Novacek, Kevin O'Connor, Tyler Deacon, Dan Moore, Mike Brown, Jed Thone, Brad Trahan, Justin Ballard, Jason Blondo, Matt Phillips, Andrew Rabideau, Matt Rabideau, Ryan LeCount, Dustin Poisson, Kyle Rabideau. Please welcome our golf team and Coach Mccarthy.
Good evening. Before I discuss this past season of my players, I'd like to begin by thanking a few very important people that have contributed to the overall success of the NCCS golf program this season. First of all, Mrs. Rosa Gilroy. Not enough can be said for all the time and work Mrs. Gilroy invests to make the golf season and all the other sports seasons run smoothly here at NCCS. Even though she had many other teams, coaches, and players that she had to accommodate, I always had everything I needed from her ahead of time, and she was always there to help fight any problems. She even took time out of her full schedule to attend one of our matches this year, which I thought was a great show of support for our team. On behalf of the NCCS golf program, thanks Mrs. Gilroy for everything you do. Secondly, I would like to thank Calvin Castine for attending and videotaping our match against Peru. As everyone in the area knows, Calvin does an invaluable service for our community by taping our sporting events. Thanks to Calvin, the family and friends of my players were able to see them in action out on the golf course. Thanks again, Calvin, for everything. Also, my team and I would like to thank Mr. Chris Welch, who couldn't be here tonight. With about 20 players, at times it's difficult to give everyone on the team the individual attention that is needed. We thank Chris for volunteering his time and helping to ensure that every player received help and support this year. Finally, and most importantly, I'd like to thank, and we would like to thank the Taylor family. The NCCS golf team dedicated this whole entire season to Mr. Benjamin Taylor. Benjamin Taylor passed away on August 25th of 2002 in a car accident. His family asked that all of his donations be made in his name to our program, to our golf program. Thanks to this donation, I was able to purchase golf swing training aids, other practice equipment that helped me teach and reinforce to my players a proper golf swing. These training aids and other practice equipment have not only benefited the golf program this year, but will continue to benefit the program for years to come. We wanted to honor Mr. Taylor in some way, and we felt the best way was to dedicate all of our efforts this year to him. On behalf of my team, I sincerely thank Benjamin Taylor and all of his family and friends. Now to our season and my players. At the beginning of the season, the team and I sat down and discussed our goals for the season. One of our major goals for the year was to improve. We knew we wanted to improve on our record of 6-5 from the previous season. We accomplished this goal by finishing this year with an impressive 8-3 record. Each player also felt that their scoring averages could go down from the previous year. We knew this would take a lot of hard work in the preseason, but we knew that our scoring averages would have to go down to reach our last goal. For our last team goal, we set our sights extremely high. As a team, we felt that we could make a run for first place in CVAC and in Section 7. This was such a high goal for a couple of reasons. First of all, NCCS Golf hasn't won the CVAC or Section 7 in about 20 years. Secondly, after our 6-5 record last year, no other team in the league would have even expected us to be a contender for first place. Despite these factors stacked against us, my team really felt that we could do it. This is what impressed me the most about them. In their goal setting, they didn't limit themselves and believe they could reach the goals they set for themselves, even though they would be difficult to achieve. We also knew that goal setting would only be truly effective if we were going to work toward reaching the goals we had established. One only needs to take a look at our statistics this year, which I'm about to read, to find proof that we were very efficient in meeting our own high standards. Every single starter on this team that played last season improved on their scoring average this season. Anybody who plays golf knows how difficult it is to lower their scoring average by even a stroke, or half a stroke for that matter. My returning starters all lowered their scoring averages by at least 3 strokes. This is an amazing accomplishment, to say the least. These low scoring averages resulted in the league success we were striving for, and which we enjoyed. We have 11 CVAC matches during the year. 8 of these 11 matches were victories for us. The majority of these 8 wins were convincing victories. We only had 3 losses, and they were by the narrowest of margins. Each of our 3 losses were by one single match point. We lost to the undefeated and CVAC champion PHS team by a single match, and to the eventual Section 7 champion Saranac Lake by a single match as well. Our strong 8-3 record put us in 3rd place, only behind the 2 aforementioned teams. As a result of hard work of these players throughout the year, we reached our goal. We proved to the rest of the league that we can beat the majority of the teams convincingly and that we belong at the top. Thanks to the young man standing before you, the NCCS golf program is now considered one of the elite 3 in CVAC golf. All of the successes we enjoyed this year were due to the players on this team and all their hard work. And the team this year for 2003 was made up of 17 players. 9 of the 17 were 8th and 9th graders. These players are Justin Ballard, Jason Blondo, Brian LeCount, Matt Phillips, Dustin Poisson, Kyle Rabideau, Matt Rabideau, Andrew Rabideau, and Jed Tone. What I'm hoping is that these players will develop into my future starters. They have all shown me throughout the year that they are dedicated to this and are willing to work on their games to be ready for the next level. I look forward to working with these players in the upcoming seasons, and I am excited to help them improve next year as much as they have this past season. I had a great group of 10th graders this year as well. Dan Moore, Mike Rao, Brad Trahan all returned from last season. These players are strong players that have scoring averages that are good enough to be in the top 6 of other teams in the league. The only reason these 10th graders haven't had the opportunity to play matches this year is because the scoring averages of my top 6 were so low. The scores these 10th graders have turned in throughout the season would beat many starting players of other CVAC teams. Next season, these players will most likely be contending for a starting spot, and the 2014 will be relying on their good scores. Now to my starters. I had 1 freshman on the starting 6 this year, and his name is Justin Ballard. Justin proved to be a very strong player in his first year on the team. Justin qualified as the #1 golfer at the beginning of the year and played the majority of his matches at the difficult #2 spot. Justin was very consistent in his scoring, with his highest score being a 44 and his lowest score of 39 throughout the entire year. Justin ended up with an official match average of 41.6, one of the top averages in the entire conference. Justin not only has a great golf swing, but he is competitive, patient, and does not give up when he has a bad hole. These traits he displayed throughout the season are what have made him such a great match performer and player at such a young age. Although he played mostly against seniors and juniors, Justin finished with an outstanding 7-2-2 record. In his first sectional tournament at Westport, Justin finished tied for 12th out of approximately 90 golfers. Also, out of 70 of the top golfers from not only Section 7 but also Section 10 at the Chisholm Memorial Tournament in Malone, Justin shot a 79 and was one of the top 10 finishers in that tournament. I would say that Justin's highlight this year would be defeating a former state qualifier and senior from PHS by 7 strokes at their home course. He has proven to me that he is a tough competitor, even against players who are sometimes 3 grades ahead of him, and I believe Justin will be a force in the league for years to come. Eric LeBlanc joined the team this year as a junior and qualified to play the #6 spot. Eric never gave up in his matches no matter how many strokes he was down. His highlight for the year would most definitely be coming back from a 3-shot deficit with only 5 holes to go to win a crucial match for us against PHS. Eric was 8-2-1 and finished with an official match average of 47.6, which is great for his first year on the golf team. Eric deserves this great record in scoring average because he is an extremely hard worker and will keep trying no matter what the odds are against him. He earned many victories this season, and I will need him to do the same as a senior next year. Kevin O'Connor, a junior, played as our #5 and was very successful as well. Like Eric, Kevin finished with an 8-2-1 record. As our #5 and 6 men, both Eric and Kevin won so many important points for our team and were huge contributors to our overall success. I don't think I've ever seen Kevin lose his temper or get upset over a bad shot. These traits have helped him become one of the best #5 players in the league. I would say that the highlight of Kevin's year was draining a 15-foot putt in the last hole of his match versus Mariah. He ended up winning that match by 1 stroke, and we ended up beating Mariah in a tiebreaker by just a couple strokes total. We would not even been in the tiebreaker had it not been for Kevin making that 15-foot putt. Kevin improved from an official match average of 52.1 last year to an average of 46.5 this year. For all these reasons, I will be looking to Kevin to be a huge asset for our team in his senior season. Kyle Hicks, a junior, played at the difficult #2, 3, and 4 spots this year. Kyle finished with a 46.1 official match average, which is 3 strokes lower than last year's average. Kyle handed in some great scores, including a 45 and a 44 at Bluff Point and Plattsburgh. Kyle finished off the season with a score of 88 in the second round of sectionals to help him finish 17th out of 90 golfers in Section 7. The highlight of Kyle's season would have to be his season low round of 44 that helped us beat Peru 4-2. I look to Kyle to be a strong performer on next year's team. Sam Novacek is the last of my 4 juniors on the team, and he played at the number 3 position for the majority of the year. At this very difficult position, Sam compiled an outstanding match record of 8-1, while maintaining a very low scoring average of 43.2. This 43.2 average was an improvement of 5 strokes from last year, and this was one of the top averages in the entire league. I would say that Sam's highlight of the season would be his career low round of 37 at Mariah. Not only was the 37 the lowest score of any other player on both teams that day, but it was also a crucial score that helped us defeat Mariah in a tiebreaker. Sam also shot an excellent score of 81 at Malone in the Chisholm Memorial Tournament, one of the top 20 scorers out of 70 golfers from Section 7 and 10. For his immense improvement in both his scoring average and match record and his consistent performance throughout the season, Sam is my most improved player for 2003. Jeremy Ballard is the only senior that I have on the team. It goes without saying that he will be missed a great deal next season. In my 3 years of coaching, I have been able to see Jeremy make huge strides in his game every single year. He went from a 52 average his freshman year to a 46 average his sophomore year, which earned him my Most Improved Player Award for the 2001 season. He then proceeded to hold a 42 average last year and qualify for states as part of the Section 7 All-Star team, all of which helped him earn the Most Valuable Player Award last year. Going into this season, I only could have hoped for Jeremy that he would maintain his level of play from last year. I knew that if this were the case, he would have a good senior season. Instead, Jeremy stepped his play up to yet another level. Jeremy improved from a 42 to an amazing 39 average this season. He is the first player I've ever coached to have a scoring average lower than 40. His scoring average is one of the top 5 out of nearly 90 golfers in the section. Jeremy's achievements this year do not end there. He shot his career low round and even par 36 in his last match of the season to help us shut out Ticonderoga at home. He then proceeded to shoot a 79 in the second round of sectionals at Westport. This score was the 6th lowest score out of 90 golfers, and it helped him finish tied for 12th. He then proceeded to shoot a 77 at a difficult Malone course and finished 2nd out of the top 70 golfers from sections 7 and 10 in the Chisholm Memorial Tournament, proving once again that he has established himself as one of the top high school golfers in this whole area. For his continued improvement and hard work every single season, his leadership, his fantastic scoring average, and his many accomplishments this year throughout his NCCS golf career, Jeremy Ballard deservedly receives the Most Valuable Player Award for 2003. Congratulations, Jeremy. In closing, some people measure team success by wins and losses, while others argue that a team can only achieve success when its players display such traits as sportsmanship, dedication, and loyalty to the team. The players I stand before you have achieved success in both of these respects, and I'm truly proud to be their coach. Our success out on the course is evident in the 8-3 record and consistently low scores. We were successful in proving to the league and to ourselves that we are one of the top teams in the conference. Although the successes out on the course are great, what's even better for me as a coach is to work with a group of young men that have proven to me that they are not only great golfers, but great people as well. When I mention to members of the golf club, teachers, or people in the community the names of the players on my team, I hear words like respectful, hardworking, and dedicated as words used to describe them. These comments I hear are a credit to these young men. They are the reason why the NCCS golf program is so successful. Thanks guys for the great year, and I look forward to coaching you next spring.
To have the senior of the team give the end of the year speech. Yet for 4 years now, I've been giving a speech, not yet a senior. It's okay, Jeremy went out and picked up the card. That's the kind of strong senior leadership we have on our team. He really sets a strong example for the younger players to follow. Leaving his team shirt on the bus, shooting a 50 at sectionals, and incessantly doubting his own abilities. Jeremy, though the great player that he is one of the most pessimistic golfers I know. I suppose it's better than being arrogant about his golfing abilities, but when he complains that he could have played better after shooting a 77, there's something wrong. Our team isn't all seriousness, far from that actually. We probably have the most laid-back team in our section, if not the state. Kevin is the most laid-back player on our team by far. He takes his time and doesn't rush through life. I even caught him sleeping in the van minutes before he had to tee off at sectionals. We don't stress ourselves out over matches or take ourselves too seriously, yet we had a great record, pulling out an 8-3 season. We mess around and always include Coach in the jokes. There was a funny little nickname Kevin gave me this year, Coach Cripple. I don't know if you know this, but our coach, Matt Fredette, broke his ankle this summer after slipping on, broke his ankle this winter. He wouldn't slip on us in the summer. At least that's what he said happened. And he was on crutches for most of the season. We warmly addressed him by this nickname, and it became a running joke. He was off crutches by the end of the season, however, and playing golf as soon as he could walk. He's a great coach, and we're thankful to have him. I'd also like to thank our assistant coach, Mr. Welch. Although he asserts that golf is a sport that's easier for right-handers and that lefties like himself can't catch a break on the golf course, he's quite the player. We had an important addition to the team this year, Justin Ballard. Justin is Jeremy's little brother. Justin was our #1 player for a portion of the year. There was always stiff competition between the Ballards. Often they were reduced to the normal sibling rivalry stuff, like eye poking and hair pulling, and Jeremy always ended the disputes with threatening not to take Jeremy home. There's such love in that family. We'll be sad to see Jeremy go next year, but at least we'll still have one Ballard left. I look forward to next year, which will be my last year on the golf team, and I expect that we'll have another great season. Thanks. And we have some gifts.
That concludes our first session. Thank you all. Sorry we're running a little late. I'd like to get going. I'd like to welcome everyone to part 2 of our Spring Sports Recognition Night. I'd like to thank Lisa Menard and Jackie Warner for typing the certificates, and also thank Kathy Devich for typing the program for tonight. Many of our school records were broken this spring in boys and girls track. Our boys track team went undefeated in the regular season, and they won the CVAC and Section 7 championships. Both the girls' JV and varsity softball teams were CVAC champions, and the boys' tennis team shared the CVAC title with 2 other teams. Last year, 1 young man qualified for the track state championship, and this year we sent 7 boys and 3 girls, and we also had 1 tennis player that made it to the state championships as well. It's been an amazing spring, and our teams have done very well, but they didn't do it alone. And so I say thank you to all of our coaches for their dedication, hard work, and assistance with all of these successes. 57 athletes earned high honors while participating this season, so congratulations to all of you for your athletic and academic accomplishments. I'd like to mention that this is the 20th year that Calvin Castine has been covering our athletic events, and I'd like to thank him for this great service and to our athletes and our coaches. Thank you. I was also asked to mention there will be a Booster Club meeting Monday night. I don't know what time. 7 o'clock.
Little guy there.
At this time, I would like to call the following athletes down front: Adam Chipola, Andrew Goodrich, Dana Langois, James Tierney, and Allie Weiss. An award. This is given to an athlete that has earned a letter in 3 varsity sports in the same year. They started playing in the middle of August, and they continued right through to June. It's a difficult task and a great accomplishment. Earning the White Letter and Award this year for the first time, Dana Langois, soccer, basketball, softball. Allie Weiss, soccer, indoor track, softball. Adam Chipola, soccer, bowling, baseball. Andrew Goodrich, cross country, indoor track, baseball. And James Tierney, soccer, bowling, baseball. Congratulations to all of you. come down front? I gave out 19 of those white letterhead and awards in our first session. That's an awful lot, 24. In each season, the CVAC All-Academic Award is presented to 2 senior athletes in recognition of their contribution to and achievement in sport as well as their success in academics. For the spring 2002 season, these awards go to Dana Langlois from the softball team, and Casey Richard from the baseball team. Congratulations, both Dana and Casey. Somewhere about the middle of summer, their pictures will go on the paper. Now, could we have the modified baseball team come down front, please? Rob Beard is unable to be here tonight because he is at Lake Clear with the 6th graders. So Scott Mitchell will fill in. Joe Hack. Chester Hemingway. Kristen Cox. Sam Parker. Chris Gould. Ryan Armstrong. Anthony Changelo. Corey Davison. Ben Dragoon. Jeremy Jeanette. Robert Pieper. Corey Trombley. Manager Matt Bako. And manager and scorekeeper Andy Matog. Please welcome the modified baseball team and substitute coach tonight.
As Mrs. Gilroy said, I'm filling in for Rob. He apologizes that he's not here. He's having clear obligations for the program there with the students. He writes, this year my modified baseball squad was a joy to work with. The team consisted of 4 8th graders and 7 7th graders. We completed the season with a record of 8-2, and one of the most important aspects of this team was the sportsmanship that they exhibited both on and off the field. In short, as far as most improved player, Chris Rule. Chris Rule was definitely a charge for our team. Chris was an offensive spark. At the end of the season, players knew that he was a player to represent us at the point. Chris? And for most valuable player, Chris and Todd. Chris had an excellent season at all 3 positions. On the plate, he had an excellent season in the field, and most importantly, on the mound. Chris? And in conclusion, Rob said that this is a good group, so hopefully the ones that are JV next year will help us out, and we'll look for varsity or help us out there too. Thanks a lot.
We have the JV baseball team down front. Tommy Babbitt, Dustin Bowman, Peter Kuhl, David Dumas, Corey Letourneau, Skylar Massey, Keenan Manette, Ryan Hampton, Ian Jensen, John Juno, Cody Roberts, Mike Southwick, Nate Young, Manager Marshall Zins, and scorekeeper Marcy Brasser. Please welcome our JV baseball team and coach Derek Badette.
Just looking at these guys, really good bunch of kids, players actually, men. We didn't have the greatest record this year, but we did have a really good team. Everyone was a pleasure to have. We did have a 4-6 record, and we stayed very competitive with the top 2 teams in the league, DHS and Ticonderoga. We actually lost to those top 2 teams by a total of 3 runs. Ticonderoga, the top team, actually we went 9 innings with and lost by a total of 1 run. This year's most valuable player for the JV baseball team is Skylar Mercado, who led the team with a .537 batting average and 3 home runs, including a very big one at varsity side baseball park in Classic. Our most improved player was Dave Dumas, who was ready to play every day, and at first I wasn't sure if he was going to be a starter, but he showed up ready to play, practiced hard, and ended up starting for me, I think, every game or 2. My only regret this season is that we probably should have had more games than 10, but we'll see what we can do about that next year. Thanks. And Skyler, most valuable player. And Dave Jr.
Quietest I've ever seen those guys. So we have the varsity baseball team down front, please.
When did you write it? I heard, yeah, that's what I heard. I heard the new storm.
Ryan Baker, Tristan Cairns, Ashton Cole, Ben Moody, Jesse Guerin, Andrew Goodrich, Jared Jarvis, James Jeanette, Brad Miller, Kelly Poisson, Casey Richard, John Southwood, Danny Trombley, Adam Dutil, and James Tierney. Please welcome our varsity baseball team and Coach Scott Lippert.
I wrote a little something that I'll just read to you quick. I'll try to make it short and simple. First, I'd like to start by saying congratulations to these guys. They're a good group to have. The seniors especially. Good luck in the future with all your endeavors. These seniors, most of them play 2 or 3 sports each year throughout their careers here at Northern Place, so they really helped out the school as far as keeping the athletic program going. Thanks for your involvement and stay active in the future. As far as our season, we had an up and down season, finishing with a 6-6 record. That's 500. At times we played grade A caliber ball, highlighted by 2 back-to-back wins over Crew and PHS. Now, back-to-back is even harder to do if we're playing them throughout the season at several times. But both games were down to the wire over these 2 top-notch teams. Unfortunately, though, We also had times where we didn't play until kind of like we had an A squad and a B squad. All depends on who showed up. When the A squad showed up, we could beat anybody as we did with Cougar KHS. When the B squad showed up, we were like the other team. We kind of halted a little bit here and there, field getting. But most of the teams had that. As CVAC, all teams had, I think the best record was 93. KHS, I'm not sure KHS. But, so everybody was fairly competitive. And as far as our most improved player, this is a player who was always solid defensively for us. However, he really improved his hitting this year, showing 20 for 40, has a batting average of 500 in League 15. That's Andy Bitter. And for our most valuable player this year, this player also hit the ball very well. He got an average of 350, but most importantly, he led the team on the mound with a 4-2 overall record. One of his wins was a big win over PHS, and altogether 4 out of our 6 total wins. James Gear. In closing, again, I'd just like to say thanks to all the parents. Mr. Tierney, he helped out with the scorebook on some home games, so I helped out a lot, including as a manager. And good luck to all our athletes in the future.
I found Kenny's bag, so I had to use that. Good evening. Tonight, I'd like to talk about our baseball team by saying we had a couple of outstanding additions to the team this year, and program Tristan Cairns and Ryan Baker. Ryan is Cairns, and I don't know where he's at. I would like to wish the best of luck to all the seniors on behalf of the baseball team. And lastly, I'd like to talk about the Ryan game, in which I hit a so-called triple. And if any of you know me, Duke-Till and triple don't go together. And I'd like to also mention that Adam Tabolo this season couldn't make it around second base without falling on his face. So thank you. Have a nice. Actually, also on my triple, every time I talked to anybody, the first thing they would say was how many errors were on the play. So anyway, have a nice evening.
Yeah. Oh, man. That looked like a fool, Duke-Till. Not a joke.
We have a modified softball team now. Brittany Bailey, Marianne Dewey, Amanda Goodfellow, Katie Laporte, Tricia LaValle, Jenna Van Leuven, Cassandra Ashline, Chelsea Barcombe, Megan Bayshard, L'Oreal Bombardier, Danny Boris, Sarah Globe, Sarah Katie Hardigan, Morgan Harvey, Amanda Rabideau, Nikki Smith, Danielle Tierney, managers Jessica DeRocha, Jody Seguin, CM Alguenduz, and Chris Laporte. Please welcome our modified softball team and coach Elaine.
I would like to thank everyone here tonight, my team, Mrs. Gilroy, the fellow coaches, and parents. I would first like to say time flies when you're having fun. Softball started for us March 31st, and I had the great pleasure of having my first cutting session, something I will never look forward to again. Our season started out with Nikki Smith breaking her nose on our first official day of practice. I went to Mexico and Danny Boris also went away on vacation. We both came back with a tan and cornrows. We had several practices inside the gym because Mother Nature failed to cooperate. Our season started with a win against Beekmantown. Next we traveled to Tupper Lake, another win, but that was not the highlight of our trip. We had to stop our bus on 2 occasions because we had a bus sickness. I'm not a mom. I'm not supposed to be taking care of this stuff. We had 2 more games, 2 more losses. Then we went to KHS. We slaughtered KHS 29-4. Daniel Tierney had to leave us right after the game for a bowling tournament. And this brings us to Saturday, May 18th. It was the day before Brittany Bailey's birthday, and she hit a home run for us in a losing effort against Saranac. I would like to take a minute briefly. Brittany's leaving us in another week to go to Florida, and she's not only a teammate to all of these girls, but she's a friend, and everyone's really going to miss her when she's gone to Florida. But we already have plans. Some of the girls, I should say, we already have plans. Some of the girls have plans to visit her as early as this summer. So we're going to miss you next year in all sports, Brittany. There will be 4 more games before our next win. Our pitchers Marianne Duty, Megan Bayshard, Chelsea Barco, and Sarah Goad worked hard for our slump. We also lost L'Oreal Bombardier due to sickness for a couple of games during mid-season. We had a practice with the parents at the end of our season. We all had a great time. And although next year to put Cassandra and her mom on the same team so they can't heckle each other. The last game of the year we traveled to Mariah, only to find out that Mariah and we would scrimmage each other because they had 6 players fail off their team. So we had girls go over to their team. So first it was Jenna Van Leuven, First it was Jenna Van Leuven and Tricia LaValle. They played the best defense they've ever played the entire season. They came back over, and Tricia LaValle and Megan Bayshard went over. What? Tricia LaValle hits a triple. Next time Megan Bayshard gets to go up, what? She hits a home run. I didn't get a home run all season. Both of them this year, wonderful against us playing Mariah. The girls all came to my house last Friday for our end of the year party. I can honestly say it's the best time I've had in a long time with everybody. And I'd like to thank the parents. You've all raised your girls to be wonderful and respectable. My house was cleaner when they left than when they arrived. Everyone took shoes off at the door. They helped me clean up. It was wonderful. I've left out a couple of players. Morgan Harvey did a great job behind the plate for us. She always had a smile on her face and was a pleasure to coach. Next, the LaPorta sisters, Carissa and Caitlin. It was wonderful to have 2 sisters on the team who truly love each other and get along well. Their mom may disagree with me. Katie also wins the award for the most doctor's appointments in one season. She had 5, I think, this season. Amanda Radu had the best double play of the season against Northern Adirondack, and she also went 6 for 6, hitting against PHS. I also need to thank my managers, Jessica Desrosiers, Sienna Mendez, Jody Seguin, and Chris Laporte, who are just as much part of the team as the individual players. And I know we've mentioned academics, but out of my 21 players, managers included, I had 17 who were either on the honor roll or the last roll, and I think that's a wonderful attribute to the girls and also to the parents and everyone involved. For my individual awards, this individual has developed as much as a person as a player. In one game, she was hit as she was pitching, as well as sustaining an injury while she was sliding. She continued on. I believe Marianne Duty will be a well-known pitcher in the CVACs when she reaches the varsity level, and she was my choice for this year's multiple fight. If I were to say I want 100% from each player, I know this player will give you 150%. She never settles for less than perfection. I feel Sarah Katie Hardigan was the quickest catcher behind the plate out of all teams we faced this year. I know she will only continue to improve over the years, and Sarah Katie Hardigan is this year's most valuable player for the month. And I truly had a wonderful season. We didn't have an overall winning season, but I had a wonderful time, and I want to thank everybody once again.
This year's season has been a great experience. Towards the beginning of the season, the Tampa had quite a handful, but as the season progressed, so did the team. We had many memorable games, especially the game at Ticonderoga. And Brittany and Megan, you know what I'm talking about. It's Hansfield's victory dance. Wow, crazy. Now, the mission stuff. Miss Hansfield is the best coach ever. Even though you sometimes miss your aerobic classes, you always manage to find a way to include it in our practices. You taught us a lot and worked just as hard. Well, sometimes. We had a great season, ladies, and we became very close like sisters. Brittany, we are going to miss you so much. You were the best. You brought the team spirit back when we were all down. You were a personal cheerleader at games, and we wish you the best of luck in Florida. We love you.
For the girls JV softball team. Aaron Connor, Jenna Martineau, Kaylee Pasco, Tiffany Lamberton, Nicole LeBlanc, Carrie Pieper, Carrie Tremblay, Darby Turner, Jordan Clark, Rachel Corrier, Alex Corey, Elaine Rabideau, managers Emily Aubertine and Katie Allen. Please welcome the girls JV softball team and Coach Frank Lewis.
Good evening. Perfect attendance, and it was just like that all year. One thing I would say about these girls, we kind of set some rules early and stuck by them, and one of them was attendance, and practice time is coach's time, and game time is players' time. They came through like real champions, just like they were. They're CVAC co-champions, 11-1. Northeastern Clinton. They deserve a round of applause for that. Our only loss was the first game of the year. After the first game of the year, actually the first game of the year we were ahead in the 6th inning, lost it in the 6th inning, and after that night we never lost a ball game the rest of the year. Some thank yous. Thank you to Josie, as always, very well prepared, keeps us well in line. I'd like to thank Mr. Menard, Jim Menard, and all the custodians. They do a lot to help out all the teams. They do whatever they can with the amount of time they have to help us prepare our fields. And around the league, our fields, as far as softball goes, are some of the better fields that we play on. I'd like to thank Mr. Connor. He was kind of my assistant all year long. And as a group, we agreed early in the year that we'd have kind of a family atmosphere, and I really feel we did between JV and varsity. It always felt like a family atmosphere. And the only way you can feel that is to get barked at once in a while by me. Well, Mr. Connor probably got barked at once or twice by me, and because I heard one of the girls say, I think it was in Peru, he says, I think Mr. Dumas just hollered at Mr. Connor. But so that made him part of the team, I guess. But a lot of thanks go out to you. You were a big help to me. Thank you to Lori Babby and the varsity team, working with my pitchers many nights, and it really made a difference for us. And Sierra came out a couple times. I don't know whether to visit, but when she came out, I put her to work with my catchers, and that's very much appreciated. Some close friends to Timmy, probably not quite as close to me, but our close friends helped us a lot this year on the grounds. A lot of times where the hours aren't there to prepare the fields, these gentlemen, Mr. Bazmazian, everybody knows him as Baz, Mr. Terry Ladd, and Mr. Al Kaufman. If any of you softball parents or anybody happen to see them, give them a thank you, because many times they prepared our field. And I mean, not just with a rake, they were out there with brought tractors, rolled our fields. We actually got the fields aerated. That was all orchestrated by Mr. McDonough, who was doing a fine job in this program the last couple of years. The record's good, but he also takes care of all the other things, not only for Tim's crew, but my thanks go out to Tim also. And to Sarah, who's doing a fine job. One thing I always notice, the girls are always happy and good mood. When they move up, well, it steps up a notch. And again, the word bark is going to come out, so they'll probably hear some of that from me. I'm noticed for that. And that's what made this program so solid, with both teams going so well. And as Mrs. Gilroy mentioned earlier about Calvin being around for 20 years, well, we've all changed. And you look at Calvin 20 years ago, look at him now, maybe we should do a little video of him. But I think he deserves a big round of applause. I was a very fortunate coach this year. It was one of those dream seasons. I had excellent coaches to work with. My fields were prepared. I had a group of girls. I didn't have to worry about grades. I could be 15 minutes late, and they were extremely responsible. They were out there, did their stretches, did their runs. I was spoiled rotten, and to you girls, I thank you for that. I was lucky to have talent. Some nights I could throw 4 pitchers and have 4 catchers suited up. I could put girls in different positions. I could switch things around in the batting order, and it really never affected us. Spring sports, probably the doormat, for lack of a better word, probably in our sports system, because of strong soccer and strong cross country and strong track, and softball was kind of, left behind. Well, guess what? It's coming back, and it's not just a walk on, and now you're on a team. Like Sarah said, she has some tough cuts to make, and in the future it looks like there's going to be tough cuts. We both have young clubs, most of them coming back next year. So it's just been a pleasant surprise, and it's all because of these 2 groups right here. And again, it's such a family atmosphere. They're so much fun to be around that the coaching part of it is very easy. And like I said, I was very fortunate to have 2 excellent managers, and I'd like to have them come forward. I have something for them. Emily and Kate. My MIP goes to a girl with a great attitude. And I can say that without a problem, and I can probably say that about all these girls. And it was a tough year to pick these 2 awards. This girl works hard at every practice. She always brings a smile, to the practice. And the thing I like the most, she got that family atmosphere about her. I could play her probably at any position. She wouldn't say a word. Put her in the lineup any spot, never say a word. A good student, again, a team leader. One thing I noticed tonight going through her book, she averaged just under 3 hits a game the last 5 games. And my MIP goes to Tiffany Lamb. And they're all smiling, the whole group. Especially the next one. This girl would even smile on the mound sometimes and would drive me nuts. This girl worked hard. She started early in the year when Mr. McDonough got pitchers and catchers together. She put in extra time with the varsity pitcher. We got off to a tough start. I knew we had a good club, and sometimes you can have the best horses, but you got to find a way to get them together. And I didn't have them quite together in that first game, and I feel if I'd made some different moves, maybe they'd have been undefeated. But we got through that game, and we made a few changes, and we went extra work on our pitching, and she really stepped it up. She was a leader, and her pitching accuracy kept us in every game. And once the girls realized this accuracy was there, and the walks were being eliminated, it made everybody more confident, and it made us a tough team to beat. Down the last 10 games of the year, she won for us, and just a real competitor. When she stepped out there, yeah, she might be smiling, but she was working on every pitch. And what a great person to be around, Carrie Tremblay, my father.
Good evening. This year was a very successful season for our team. We had 11 wins and 1 loss, and are division co-champions. We had some great times this season and a lot of laughs. We could always count on Katie to give us a laugh, and Darby to be light on her feet. We learned she can't walk on water. Rachel was also a great entertainment to us. We loved to pick on her. Her head keeps growing, so we've got to watch that. We also never forget the continuous honks for passing cars. Mr. Dumas simply explained to us that he's just one big hunk of man. Our season could not have been this successful without the help of so many outstanding people. First, we would like to thank our parents for everything they have done for us, coming to our games and supporting us, picking us up to practices. Mr. Flory for all the refreshments and candy. Mr. Connor, who was there at every single game, coaching bases and helping out. Mr. Wright, thank you for the great job you did this year on scheduling and rescheduling games. We appreciate it very much. Kelvin Castine for taping our game. Our managers, Katie and Emily, you guys are great. And last but not least, our hunk of man, our coach, an outstanding guy, Mr. Dumas. You always made sure we were pushing ourselves to become better ball players and improving us so much. You've helped our softball program here at NCCS be one of the best. Thank you so much. We have the varsity softball team in front of me. First time all season I've seen you with your glasses. Dana Lane, boys. Lori Babby. Amber LaValle.
Heather Manor, Sierra Ben, Jamie Burnell, Jessica Gadway, Amanda Maybar, Amanda Trombley, Allison White, Courtney Corrier, Shaylee Colbert. The managers, Quinn Babby and Daniela Fontaine. Please welcome our varsity softball team and coach, Tim McDonough.
Mr. Dumas took care of a lot of the thank yous for me. He knows I'm nervous. But along with the team, I'd like to thank the parents, first of all, for raising really nice kids. I put sweet kids here. And especially Mr. Chris Batty, spent hours catching Lori inside and helping out in different ways. Calvin, again, for taping. I've noticed he even caught some coach grabbing Jess Gadway, helping her tag up in one game. Miss Gilroy and Bernard and all the crew, especially the back team, Baz, Al, and T. Lisa Marlowe, I wrote down here, last summer she gave a clinic. We're trying to get her up this summer, and another picture from Malone, I forgot what her name is. But we're going to try to hire them for a clinic this summer. And she did and she gave one last summer for free. And she did offer to throw batting practice one day. We got rained out. And I want to thank my managers. Twins not here. Danielle is. And I'm really moved that all the girls are here. They're busy people. We had a very successful season. Last year we were about the same team, except Dana joined us this year, and a couple of the younger girls, and a couple girls that, a couple new ones. But except for Dana's the only one we're losing. And last year anyway, we had a lot of these same girls. That's the point. And we were 12-6, and this year we're 13-2. At the beginning of the year, we were just going to worry about each game and see if we could improve. And I think we did pitch a little better. Lisa had another outstanding year. She had another no-hitter and another one-hitter. We ran better, we stole bases this year. Then we found out we do have some speed. We should be faster next year. Coach didn't get better, I just thought of this, but next year I'm going to really know what I'm doing, and we're going to be fast, and we're going to be bunting. But we fielded better. Al made some great plays. Sierra, just to mention two players, gunned some runners out. We had a few errorless games, which is doesn't happen often. We hit better. As a matter of fact, even though we didn't have the long ball hitters per se, there's no game when the opposing pitcher had more strikeouts against us than Laurie had, or whoever our combined pitchers were. So that means we put the ball in play. And we're very, aggressive. A couple girls like to take pitches, but 8 out of 9 are up there swinging the bat. Even along with Laurie, last of the league was a Wallenhurst girl, and she struck out 11 that first game. Laurie struck out 12. And the second game, strikeouts kind of but I won't get into that. Longer struck out 4, Lori struck out 6. Fuller girl from Ticonderoga, excellent pitcher. She struck out 8 and tied probably the best hitting team. Lori struck out 9. Even on a cold, windy day against Beatontown, it was a sectional game, I guess. I think Lori might have even had a sore arm. She only had 4 Ks, but we went out and we only had 3 strikeouts in the game. So that's kind of interesting. Even Mariah, who had pitchers that hit 3 or 4 of us and had about 15 walks, but they were throwing hard. They struck out 11 girls, and Laurie stepped up and had 13 strikeouts against a pretty good hitting team. So, how much time is that? I have to get out for 7 minutes last year. So we have a lot to build on, and we're going to improve, but tonight is for this year, and the rest is going to be ad lib. I'll just say everyone's name and then get off here. That's going to do some segue into this, but anyway, Dana's a senior. Lori, when I do give out the MVP, it's kind of too bad we don't have an MVP other than Lori, so because it's kind of obvious that, did we say that she was, it's on the form, on the program that she was, I should turn to pick this up. She was a first team all CVAC All-Star, and so was Allie Weiss, A-L-L-I-E. So now I just have to mention the others. Amber came out this year, she helped us out a lot, she's a great kid. Katrina Lopez, everyone loves Katrina. Good speed and good attitude. I almost gave her a most improved player, but I didn't. She got sick and missed school or something. You have to decide about 4 weeks in advance. Sierra Ben had a great year. She was throwing better and keeping us all loose. Jamie Brunel is a great kid. She's got a great bat. She's going to be a real star, I think. Jess Gadway is steady Jess. She's just a great kid too, and she's a good hitter. Amanda Maybor, I better say great kid, I've said it 3 times in a row. She's another great kid, everyone loves, huge smile, and she takes a rip like nobody in the league. Amanda Trombley is going to be a real good hitter. She's got a real quick swing. Allie Weiss, like I said, is an all-star. She made some really, I guess I said it earlier, she made some really outstanding plays. Courtney Poirier, Haley Colbert are 9th graders. They should be playing full-time the rest of their high school career. Like I said, we have a young team, a really nice team. I guess I decided a freshman should be most improved player, so I flipped the coin, but Haley, I really like the way her swing straightened out, and Courtney, compared to last year, she got a little quicker and stronger and a little more relaxed in center field. So anyway, Courtney got the most improved player. And I'd like Courtney and Lori Babby. Come on. Quinn, I have a gift here for you. Oh, Quinn's not here. Danielle, I have a gift here for you.
With playing only 13 CVAC games and winning the CVACs, this season flew by. And being the only senior this year, it was a little lonely, but these girls were great and never let there be a dull moment. Coach had his hands full, and he soon realized, what he probably already knew, that we don't act like ladies. Jess and Allie led the team not only with their playing ability, but also with their and bottom. But some of the moments that we would definitely remember are when Coach got Jess out of third by blowing her down the baseline, Coach always leaving his keys everywhere, Coach not moving out of the way of Haley's pitches, and Coach tripping on the way to second. He claims that he was showing us how to fake the defense out, so the runner on third could get home, but we all knew he was trying to cover it up. Pretty much all the funny moments came courtesy of Coach. Thank you very much. Well, the season is officially my last high school sport. I would like to take this time to thank all of my coaches that I've had throughout the years, and my friends that I've had the privilege of playing with, and I'll miss you very much. Good luck in the seasons to come, and if I can give you one piece of advice, be patient when Coach says that he wants to talk to you for 5 minutes, when you know darn well it's going to take 15 to 20. I'd also like to throw out a few thank yous. Mr. Bako for helping us be our assistant coach. Quinn and Danielle for being our managers, and I have a card for them after. Mr. Al Kaufman, Terry Ladd, and Hank Mason for making our field probably the best in the league. Calvin for taping our games, and also our parents for being at almost every game. And Coach, thank you very much for all that you do.